have an age difference. We have life differences.
This is how you should live your life.
I got the faith, because to get the faith...
Got it. Well, let's jump into this.
This is the Old School, New School podcast.
Five, four, three, two, one.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Old School, New School podcast. I am Will Charles Egan, and as always,
Chris Meekins.
We're sorry that we missed last week. We had a bit of a conviction from the Spirit with in the form of an audio setup that didn't work.
We really believe God blocked the podcast.
We probably had a fair reason for not putting that out.
He was like a mental case last week.
Oh, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, and I was angry.
Well, funny enough, we want to talk about anger today.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but it was an episode about
weird
loneliness and something else. Well, it was pretty depressing. And it was like, this is going to be the best episode ever. And then I'm editing it, and the whole time I hear, the audio is just completely
so sorry
broken.
If you are having the Jimmy and
where's the episode? Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So we're going to talk about what happened at church today.
Yes,
because it's something dear to both of our
right, near and dear and deep in my spirit. Anger. If you've ever been angry before, raise your hand. That would be me. Hi, I'm Will. I'm an angerholic. Hi, Will. And it's it's something that a lot of men, namely, are targeted with.
I really, based on absolutely nothing, which is most of my life.
Right.
But I think women are more angry in public more now than ever before. Now,
you sure?
Because I think women are demonstrating anger more than they ever did before.
In which places are you seeing this?
X, on my
on like social media. Oh yeah. Okay, then definitely.
No, I see a lot of angry women. I mean, it's because what has happened. Okay, please stay in because I'm pro women. I love women.
Right. For the record.
I married one.
Oh well, that's good.
No, what has happened is the world has told them that if you do this, if you don't have kids and you have a career, you're gonna be happy. Mm-hmm. If you stay single and whatever, you're gonna be happy. No, you know what? You're a woman and you could raise a family, go to work full time, be successful in your career.
You can do all those things.
You're smarter and I'm all about my wife's a lot more better organizing and
my better half.
Thinking, I mean, she's just better at that. I'm just better looking, so that's what I bring to the relationship.
Are you sure about that?
Oh God. But anyway, and so they've been taught a lot, and so they have to work. I mean, there's women have to work all day long and then come home to men that are more immature now. Sitting at home playing video games all day, sitting at home on the thing, and so they're like, because women are responsible. They're like, okay, we made a commitment to do this, or we want to raise our kids. We bought, and so they're like hold the family together. I don't think people realize that, but they do, and so, but now they got to do that and go to work because their lazy husband. Say, stop. Their lazy husband is like, I work and that's woman stuff. And so I personally see more than I've ever seen before. Yeah,
because a lot of it can be, because you hear a lot of, in the Christian circles, you hear, what is Chris doing? Okay. You hear in the Christian circles of like, return to, tradition, return to normalcy. What, like, the world has wronged men and women. The burden of responsibility for women now is more because it's like, the idea of being a stay-at-home mom is very rare. Right. And so now it's like you have to have two separate incomes, and then the woman has more responsibilities raising the kid, and then there's the burden of men having to seek out the partner, having to provide for the family, and these are all like inherent needs. Like as a man, you feel like I have to provide.
Right.
As a man, I have to chase the woman. As the man, I have to be strong. I have to portray myself as a certain way. We're going to
lose half of our audience.
We're going to lose both halves. We're dumping on men and women here. But all of these things.
There's enough guilt to pass around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's
right.
in on this.
I'm just as angry and as guilty about it. But all this leads to
the world is more angrier now. I liked what Jordan said today. It's like we live. How did he explain it? We did not practice this. How did he explain it? Where he's like, from a political, there's this inner anger going on in the world where it's okay. In fact, that's how we resolve all our issues is through anger. How did he explain that?
I don't remember that topic specifically, but what I can say is when it comes to when I think I remember he said when it comes to politics, it's like you need to be angry about it.
Yeah.
If there's a problem that you see, you have to be angry about it. That's the way that unfortunately, a huge part of just the society that we live in the West.
Yeah, that's what I just said. No.
You're going to make me mad. Unfortunately, a huge part of the society that we live in is rooted in politics for some reason. Like it used to be you turn on the news and it's like, what's happening in the town hall? Now it's like you turn on the news, what's the president? It's always politics. And with that, you have to be on a side and you have to be angry at the other side to get something done. I think that's what Jordan said is to get something done, you have to be angry about it.
Yeah, and so you watch both sides. The only response is I'm angry where, I'm angry at Elon Musk. I'm angry at Trump. I'm angry at OAC.
Obama.
I'm angry, and so I have to be angry about it.
Yes.
So let me tell a story. So I was going to quit my job at Costco a couple of years ago.
You worked at Costco?
Oh, yeah. I
no
loved
wonder
it.
you love Costco so much.
I love Costco. And I was standing in line. I'm like, hey, man, I would really like to work here. And it was right after I got out of the fire department, and they dropped my insurance, so we had to pay for it.
Okay.
They were offering full insurance.
Really?
It's like crazy. Wow. Anyway, it's a great job. So I took a job there, and they ended up taking a job in the tire department, which voluntarily did, and I hated it.
Right.
So I was mad about this supervisor I had.
Yes.
So I'm writing a letter. I'm quitting because this guy, and he did this, and he said this. And I got this all angry letter because I have to be angry because I'm quitting. And my wife looks over and she goes, why do you have to write all that? I go, because they need to know why. She goes, no, they don't. You need to write, things have changed. I'm going to quit.
Right.
Here's my 2-week notice. And thank you for letting me have the opportunity of working here.
Great.
What? You mean I don't have to be angry? I don't have to spew poison on my way out? I don't need to burn the bridge?
Right, exactly. You don't have to burn the bridge.
Well, the funny thing is I turned it in and they go, okay, that's bull crap. And they go, why are you quitting? Then they wanted to know, which was really cool.
Really?
And I told them why, and they're like, no, we don't want you to quit. We'll take care of this. We'll put you in a different.
And then you stayed.
I stayed.
Oh, wow. And so you resolved the conflict as a product of not being angry.
Not being angry.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Isn't that cool how God works?
But let's dive into anger. So you've never had anger in your life.
Never.
Because you're an only child.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and
never had
everything's
anger.
been good.
Everything's been perfect.
Silver spoon.
It's correct.
Do you have it in your pocket with you?
It's in my back pocket. It's zipped. It's in a zipper pocket, so you can't touch it. No. The holes in the drywall speak for themselves. Yeah, we all have anger issues. For some, it's a season of life. For some, it's just kind of in who you are as a person.
I was raised then. It was my turn to be angry.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. For me, it was
generational.
Exactly. I've never been like always angry. It'll be like something bad is happening in my life, and now I'm getting angry about it. So it was like, sometimes you'd punch things. Sometimes I never yelled at people. I never like cussed people out or yelled at people.
Beat people up?
Never got in a fight. I was never confrontational angry. I was a separate from my friends.
You did it. What is that called?
Internalize.
Yeah, internalize.
Well, you're an only child, so I just go back to my room by myself and
lock it down.
Right. I would envision in my mind how the conversation should have gone and how I would have won that argument, and then I would punch the wall. And we had concrete house walls, so it never ended well. It's fine. But, some people take anger in a different way.
So there's different kinds. There's passive, which is what we were talking about.
That's me. Yep.
Aggressive.
That's you.
Assertive. I'm not assertive.
I know people that are assertive. Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean? What do you mean by assertive?
Well, it's kind of like confrontational, but it's like you are deeply rooted in your belief. This is my way or the highway, and I am going to stand on this hill until I die.
What about the people that they're like, no, boom.
Oh, jeez. That's called what is it? Where you just get like anger.
Outburst?
Yeah, just anger issues. You'll just be happy-go-lucky, and then you just like flip a switch, and suddenly they see red. And
Okay.
It's just,
So, and that's not really a way to deal with anger.
no. You just explode.
And then there's people that have it bottled up, and they're just resentful. They're like,
and they become
you're
bitter.
like, are you ever angry? No, I'm not angry at all. I mean, you just ruined my house, but you know what? God loves you.
Yeah, and then you become bitter once they leave.
And then they walk out the door, and you start punching,
Seething, and that was probably me. Yeah.
So, but anger is a emotion from God, right?
So that's the thing, is like what Jordan was saying today, is that anger is not a sin, it's an emotion. It's what you do with the anger that can lead to the sin, right?
Okay.
Like Jesus got angry. You, of course, remember Jesus flipping the tables in the temple. That's righteous anger.
Yeah, but if I flip tables, I'm pretty sure it's not about being righteous. It's about me being dramatic.
Right, exactly. If you flip tables or if I flip tables, it's probably not for the best reason. God, the Father, regularly got angry at the Israelites because of their regular disobedience. So like the wrath of God.
Okay. Being angry about human trafficking.
That's pretty
You should
right.
be angry about that.
That's pretty just. That's just anger.
Okay.
So anger itself isn't a sin. It's the reaction. It is how it's used. It is the way you talk to people through the anger that can be the sin.
Well, in Ephesians 4:26 and 27, it says, in your anger, like what you just said, do not sin.
That's a great way of, because in your anger, where do you want to go? Just don't sin. You can be angry about a righteous thing. Just in your anger, do not sin, right? Because again, anger is an emotion, not a sin. It can certainly lead to sin.
Do you think that we have a problem in the world because we don't really know how to deal with anger? I'm going to go to a spot in this, but I want to ask you that first.
Well, I think we have a problem in the world is we don't know how to deal with a lot of things, obviously. But I think when I think of what you just said, do we have a problem in this world because we don't know how to deal with anger? Immediately, again, my mind jumps to like politics. Like in our society, it's kind of baked into who you are. I mean, like there's this dating app. It's called Hinge. And on the very top, like your age, here's a photo of you, here's your religious beliefs, and then there's your political beliefs. And that's just like a prerequisite. Are you conservative? Are you liberal? Are you neither? Are you not political? But it's like you pick one, and you have to pick one. And
Really?
oh yeah, because it's like so deeply involved in our culture now.
And when I grew up, there was like, what you do in the voting booth is your business.
Right,
It's
yeah.
nobody's business.
That
it's
is-
you. And it was like, it's none of your business who I voted for.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
you're still
right.
neighbors.
Now it's like,
As Gen Z, that's impossible.
you're obviously against me if you're not going to tell me
right,
what it is.
because we have an issue with how we deal with anger, and a majority of the way it comes out is politics, or just your like moral beliefs. Because a lot of the times your religious beliefs gets roped into politics, right? If you're a conservative, you're a Christian, right? If you're a liberal, you're an atheist. That's just right. That's how we always
I've
assume.
had friends of mine own the church. He was a social worker. He had not adoption agency, a foster home agency,
Okay.
private.
Yeah.
And our church was super conservative. And he's like, it's really difficult being
Sure.
being a Democrat in this church.
Yes.
He goes, but he teaches from and they never taught it from the pulpit.
Right. Yeah.
But it's just everybody was there.
Everybody knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know.
We all vote this way. Yeah.
There's this book. So one of the beginning stages of Joyce and I learning how to have kids, and especially teenagers, was How to Really Love Your Teenager by Ross Campbell. It's amazing. I can't remember anything, but I can remember certain things. Isn't that funny how God designed your brain?
Yeah.
That it's like this
To forget.
it's like a supercomputer.
Oh yeah.
Like this has not been in my brain for like 20 years.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're talking about anger. Oh yeah, the anger ladder, Ross Campbell.
Yeah.
Anyway, not the guy that, who's that guy that paints and he's dead now?
Campbell.
No, never mind. You don't know.
Andy Warhol.
It was in on Channel 25, and people would just
Oh,
watch
Bob
it.
Ross.
Yeah, Bob
Yeah,
Ross.
yeah.
It wasn't Bob Ross.
Yeah.
It was Ross Campbell.
Ross Campbell.
Anyway, so he talked about this thing called the anger ladder.
Oh,
And it was healthy anger. And it started,
Ooh.
I wish I would have thought of this beforehand. I'll look it up.
That's how podcasts work.
But it was like this is the healthy way to anger. And we're like, oh. And so we ended up trying to teach our kids that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it played out. And if they're listening, they'll call me, they'll text me. They'll say, yeah, that worked out real
real
good.
well.
Yeah, I was in jail last night. But anyway, but it was this anger ladder and what's good. This is the next level. One of the things that we, it helped us get through
Nice.
It helped us.
Yeah.
But I think that people don't know how to deal with anger, right?
Mm-hmm. Are you going to look up the anger ladder?
I am.
Well, good. Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to deal with anger because oftentimes it's what you learn from, your parents, how they dealt with anger, and they didn't deal with anger well. And then your grandparents didn't deal with anger well. I don't know if there's ever really been like a generation that dealt with anger well. If you just look at like,
oh my gosh, your dad, my dad,
yeah,
nothing to say about my dad.
You have the generations that went through all the war, right? So they would have these random outbursts of anger. Let me tell you a story. Okay. My grandfather, he was a police officer, and so he never fought in any wars, but he had a bunch of, sergeants and different police sheriffs that came back from the Vietnam War. Okay. And they were hotheads, and they also had like post-traumatic stress disorder. It was insane. And so there was this one time where this one guy was, they were at some event, and there was a couple of lawn chairs. There was this bridge, and all of a sudden, this guy snaps, and he starts taking these chairs, and he's like barricading this bridge. And my grandpa goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "We're holding this bridge." Like, what are you doing? "We're gonna take this bridge and we're gonna hold it. We're gonna wait for the enemy to come to us, and we're gonna hold." And he's like, "Oh my God," he's having a flashback. And so then he had the commander come out and say, like, he had to play into the bit or like the flashback that he was having. He goes, "I outrank you, corporal. I'm demanding that you take these lawn chairs and put them back. We're not holding this bridge." But like some people just snap. And I don't know, again, if any group of people or any generation ever effectively dealt with the anger. So what is this anger ladder?
Well, it's not showing me what I really want. I'm looking for, but it's different levels of anger, and it's like it starts with calm, then you're annoyed, then you're upset, then you're frustrated, then you're angry, and then you're furious. So some of us just go right into furious. I'm like, I have a thing, and I'm like, why is it always personal? That's how I used to be.
Some people it's calm to annoyed to frustrated. Yeah. Or to furious. Some people it's calm to furious. Some people it's calm to annoyed, and it's never getting higher than that. But some people take it to extremes. Yeah. Some people don't know how to process the anger effectively. And what would you say the biblical solution is then, Chris, to dealing with your anger?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is you have to know that you got a problem with your anger. That's out of control. I think that's just like any kind of recovery.
Yes, confess.
Is you're like, okay, I've got a problem.
Right. Yeah.
And that is fixable. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I mean, because some homes it's like that's the only way we deal with things. We're either here,
right,
or we're over here.
It's a light switch. Yeah, you're either goofy or you're angry.
Now, there's people that allow themselves to get angry so that they can act out their behavior.
Yep.
And so a lot of alcoholics or drug addicts, they allow themselves to get into situations,
right,
or they cause situations where they're like, see, now you're going to behave like that. Mm-hmm. Now I don't know how to do, and so now I'm going to go do my drugs or whatever. They're
re-cementing what they tell themselves.
But one is to surrender it. Psalms 37:8. So how would you, in your anger, you're learning how to surrender it, how to deal with it, and your anger comes out differently than my anger.
Right. Yes.
Your anger comes out what? You
privately.
Just beat the shit out of yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. It's always self-inflicted. It's like nobody. I don't think anybody's ever seen me angry. Like earnestly, I don't know if any of my friends have seen me angry, like really pissed.
No, I've never seen you angry.
You probably never will.
You probably just disappear. You feel it coming on, and you go, okay, I gotta go.
Like I just don't deal with it until I'm home. That's how I've always. And maybe this is healthy, maybe this is unhealthy. Who knows? This isn't a therapy session for Will, but the way that I always dealt with anger is it came up when I was alone. It was always whenever I'm alone, then I'm angry, and whenever I'm with other people, I'll just kind of deal with them, and I'll just kind of be whatever. But yeah, you'll probably never see me angry because I don't do that.
Chip Ingram. Have you ever heard of
That's
him?
a hilarious for the topic of anger. His Chip Ingram.
Ingram.
Oh, Ingram.
Anyway,
Chip Ingram. On the topic of anger.
He has a video class on emotions that destroy, which I probably should have got prepared for it. I think I have it here. But I went through that. It was part of the. I mean, I'm telling you, I got some real anger issues, and which is funny because when we first started doing this podcast, you were like, "I don't see it."
Right, I remember that. Yeah, I was like, "You angry? Yeah. No, you're such a happy-go-lucky guy," and you're like, "You don't know me.
You don't know." But he talked about the only thing that's happening here. Here's you think you're all angry and you're in control, and the only thing that's happening is you're looking like a fool.
Yeah, yeah.
That made me even angrier.
You're right. You're calling me a fool?
Because you're like, are you serious? I look like a fool? Yeah. And then you start thinking about it. It's like, have you ever seen someone in a store that's just losing it? And you're like,
you look like a fool.
You're kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
You look like a fool. Oh, wait a minute.
That's you.
That made me.
That's also you. Oh, yeah. Because once you see it and then you realize, again, it's like, well, that doesn't happen to me. You know, you see a car accident on the side of the highway. Well, accidents happen to other people. Accidents don't happen to me. But then you realize, like, oh, that person getting in a car accident on the side of the road, like when you are the person angry in Walmart, it's like, oh, no. That happens to me as well. You know, I'm not perfect. Yeah. I look at myself in this perfect light. It's like, no, actually, you do get angry and you do look like a fool and you need to get over yourself.
Well, there's this other, I want to hit that also, the root causes of anger.
Root causes of anger.
You know, all the different things.
Yeah, well, heck, that's a great one there. Pride, like Cain in Genesis 4, his sacrifice was not deemed worthy by God, what he brought forth.
Which is crazy when you're reading this. Or you're like, okay, come on, God, cut the guy some break, man.
Well,
but he knew better. He knew the right
Cain
answer.
knew better. Cain was just sloppy. Sin was crouching on his door because he allowed it in. But his pride wouldn't allow himself to see the sin crouching on his door, so Cain just was bitter because he was angry and he didn't deal with it, so he became bitter. And then he killed his brother, which we don't recommend doing. So pride, that's certainly one that I deal with. Insecurity, sure, yeah.
That's what mine was always like.
Yeah.
When I get mad at my kids, I go, do you know how this makes me look in front of all my friends? Here we are, good Christian family, and you guys are screwing it up.
I'm starting to understand now why your kids are afraid of you. No.
Well, I was so insecure about my fatherhood and that my kids weren't being something. Mm-hmm. They weren't being something that I wasn't even. I was expecting them to be something that I don't even know what I was expecting. Actually, just not like me.
Yeah. You're just not like yourself. Yeah. So insecurity, big one. The example here is King Saul in 1 Samuel 18, because King Saul saw this up-and-coming David who had been prophesied over. He's going to be the king. So Saul said, whoa, hang on. I'm the king. Why are you talking about being the king? I'm the best. And so he tried to kill David, and he was like, no, I'm the king, not you. And so it was this whole issue.
We're in the middle of the story in my Nicky Gumbo through the Bible in a year.
Yep.
And we're going through that whole thing this last week. It's like it's a fascinating story.
Oh, the Old Testament.
You know why it made the cut? Because it's a great story.
It's a great story.
You know, and he's like sitting there minding his own business, playing his harp, singing his songs, and
he's throwing spears at him.
Yeah,
that's insecurity. Because he saw the goodness that David had and the blessing that David had, and he goes, I don't like that. I'm going to try and destroy it.
And so I'm just going to kill this person.
I'm going to kill him.
That I see something that I'm envious of. But isn't that what we do? We want to, I'm going to, I'll straighten his butt out, right?
Good. I liked how you danced around the swear words in that one.
I'm really working. I'm trying to be more spirit controlled.
Yes, that's good. I can tell. So insecurity, and then unforgiveness. Ooh, that's a big one. It's like, I was talking with a buddy actually the other day about like I needed somebody that was asking me for money, somebody else, but there was a couple of people that were, harping on me for however many years, and I had just built up this bitterness, this resentment towards them, whether it be, a friend, a parent, whether it be a coworker, spouse even. A lot of the times we hold on to the anger for them, and then it becomes an unforgiveness because we're unwilling to let go of our anger for them. It becomes this unforgiveness. An example here is Jonah angry at God's mercy for the Ninevites.
Which
Jonah,
is another great story.
Oh, great story. Because Jonah is told to go preach to these people, and he's like, why?
Why?
I don't want to. Those people
It's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why me?
Yeah.
Why don't I got to do it?
Why do I gotta
wait
do
a minute, because I asked you because you're going to really do a rock solid job.
Oh, yeah. And so unforgiveness is oftentimes something that builds up over a long period of time, and it's, multiple offenses or whatever. And so somebody will text you out of the blue for something or about something, and then immediately you have that knee-jerk reaction.
You lose it.
Yes, because you've never forgiven them.
They call you up and say, hey, by the way, can you, I know I let you borrow $5 yesterday, and you said you're going to pay me back, and you didn't already, and it's only been like 15 minutes.
Right.
And now I lose my mind.
Right.
Because I'm mad because of something.
On the surface, you're mad about A.
Yeah.
But deep down, you're mad about A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
And so
in fact, you're mad about A, but this was only number Z in the list of them.
Right. Exactly.
So stop for a minute, and how do you find out things about yourself? I mean, we're both going through that. We're like trying to make changes in our life. I mean, is there a way that you can pray that in for God to give you like clear understanding of what it is, what kind of anger, or like where does this anger come from?
Yeah, a big one for me. A lot of the times, I'm naturally introspective, so I can kind of do this on my own, tooting my own horn here. But a lot of the times when I ask myself that question, where does this anger come from? Where does this feeling come from? I'm usually pretty good at identifying where it is. But for a lot of people, it takes two. When you have
a conversation with somebody.
Yeah, when you just word vomit all of it, a lot of the times somebody else's fresh perspective can say, well, it's clearly this. Yesterday, my buddy, he had a dream that a bunch of us were going to battle, and not with like guns, but with like swords and maces and so it was like me and him, a couple of our other buddies versus some of our people from college actually.
Okay.
And so it was this huge battle in like the woods, and we're going to battle, we're fighting to the death, and it was like a brutal fight. And he goes, I don't know what any of this meant. And I was like, well, clearly it's this. It's like, it was spiritual warfare because literally
some other stuff that was going on in his life that you know about. Yeah.
The night prior, him and I had this really good conversation about, the spiritual warfare that we're both walking through. And then he has this dream about warfare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's clearly about this, right? Yeah. So when it comes to identifying like the reason for an anger issue or something, a lot of times if you share the whole picture, somebody will go, well, it's this, right? And they go, oh, yeah, you're probably right. Because in your own mind, you've made it this and that, and maybe it's this, or maybe it's that, and then you're playing spiritual whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's this, or maybe it's that. Well, maybe it's this, or did I think of this? And it's like you need somebody else to just go, oh, no, you just need to unplug the whack-a-mole machine.
Or a counselor.
Or a therapist, yeah.
Therapist.
A professional counselor, a therapist, a life coach.
Because they listen to you and like, oh, you're just mad about your mother beating you as a child. You're going to have to forgive her.
You'd be so surprised. Have you ever done counseling like that before?
Unfortunately, yes, I have.
Unfortunately, well, that's good. Because I'll tell myself it's this or that or this or that. And then I'll go to a counselor who goes, well, you're probably dealing with this. And I go, no, definitely not. And then I think about it and go, oh, he's right. And again, part of that is letting go of the unforgiveness or the pride of the whatever the source of the issue is. You got to admit to yourself that you are in the wrong and that you need help.
And so what do you do with it? You surrender it to God. You forgive people, that's another whole topic we talked about. Go back like about 40 episodes to we call it debt canceling and pursue peace. I mean, what does that mean? How does that have to do anything with anger?
Pursuing peace?
Yeah.
Well, the opposite of anger is peace, is it not?
I didn't attend that class.
See, you need somebody else to bounce ideas back.
So the unhealed wounds and triggers. Sometimes you've got some bad, deep PTSD issues from childhood.
Yeah,
right?
Or even from just traumatic events. Like I was telling you that story of the dude that was like, we're going to hold this bridge. He's thinking he's in Vietnam still. Like for people, it's extreme. Like they have a flashback or they'll have a moment where, all of the horrible experiences come back to them in real time. And they think that they're right back in that hellhole again.
Yeah.
And it's very unhealthy.
And it's like, boom.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody's like, what the hell just happened?
It's not like
you watch somebody go into it.
Oh,
sometimes it's an episode.
Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it's gradual.
Yeah.
But yeah, when people have an episode, sometimes it's like,
I'm starting my ministry tomorrow at 6.
Nice.
I mean, Tuesday, 2 days from now, for veterans, police, and fire, because they've got things in their life that are unique because they've got so many triggers because so much stuff has happened that they've buried in their life. And anyway, so it's the point is cognitive behavior therapy. How
Clearly,
thoughts
all about that.
Yeah, how thoughts fuel emotion, and you're renewing your mind. So let me just say this: renewing your mind. And in Romans 12:2, that's all I wanted to get to. I should have left all the other stuff.
I'll do that one.
Romans 12:2, it talks about renewing your mind, and so I talked about this in an episode months back. But we had our pastor, so I would have these fits of rage, and I'm like raging, and the thing about it is when you get angry and you start raging, it's like an energy, man. It's like you're getting pumped up.
It's a hurricane.
Yeah.
Over warm water. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like insane. And then I was like, I know I can't stop. And as I'm going through this, my pastor showed up at the front door, and I'm like losing my stuff with my wife.
Your stuff.
I'm losing my stuff with my wife, and I'm not physical or anything. I'm just like raging. And he knocks on the door. Oh, hi, Pastor Jonathan. How are you? Come on. Oh, no, come on in. And it's amazing because we're like, I can't stop.
And then you did.
Oh, no, you can.
Yeah.
And I learned a lesson that day. It's like, oh, no, you are in control. You can stop. You have to train wait a minute. I had Pastor Jonathan's here, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I do have control over it. And everything changed from that time. I made a decision to change my thinking. And I renewed my mind that, okay, God, you're going to have to help me hold it together here because I don't know how to handle it. It happened on Friday with the healthcare with my father-in-law.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sitting there talking with and I want to get mad because I know how to get mad. I know how to rage. And I kept on going, that's not going to help. Let's work through this list.
It's good.
And everything worked out by Saturday afternoon.
Boom. I go through that with, different issues of, like anxiety and things, but with cognitive behavioral therapy, the whole idea is that, and it's vice versa.
You're gonna get the real reason.
Yeah, for your cognitive behavior therapy. Anyway, Romans 12, that was what you did. I'm going to go to the first part and retouch on that because you're the dunce over here when it comes to psychology. But with cognitive behavioral therapy, that's how you say it.
I show up.
You show up. You do good, Chris. You're enough. But with that, it's the idea that, and it's vice versa, that your behavior affects your thoughts. Like, seriously, if this is true, I've lived it. And then your thoughts affect your behaviors.
Okay.
And this is really crucial. You can literally change the way that your body will have like a physical reaction because of the way that you're thinking. Like sometimes I can have a thought that makes me feel physically ill. Okay. And it's very real and it sucks. But you can like same deal. You can immediately eradicate that when you tell somebody about it. Or when Pastor Jonathan shows up to the door, it immediately changes, which then can reaffirm in your mind and then again change your behavior that, oh no, wait, I am in control and that I can change this feeling with my own power. I am in control.
I am in control.
And you can then continue to reaffirm that and reaffirm that until you believe that you believe that you believe it.
Yeah. But it takes time.
But it takes time.
That's the hard part. And there's are people that get delivered immediately. There's people have been set free from all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, do I really believe that, go a little spiritual, do I really believe that God, the Holy Spirit, can change me that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Is he really in me?
Yeah.
And am I really willing to push into him?
Yeah. Here's a fun story. We have I can't believe I didn't tell you this. My roommate tore his ACL.
Okay.
Completely.
Oh, my God.
I know. And so he's all down and out, like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to work out again. And of course, because that's our top priority is how we look because we're prideful. But we're going to have a Bible study tomorrow evening. And it's like, guess what we're going to do, Alden? We're going to bring the freaking house down. We're going to pray Holy Spirit fire over your left knee, right? And I had this thought, and I haven't told him this, but what if it doesn't work? The reason, like you're saying, if we believe that the Holy Spirit is within us and that he can change us, incredible. He can, and he certainly has. I've watched people who were wheelchair bound get saved like that and able to run around the room. It's literally happened to me before. But have you ever watched The Chosen?
Yes.
There's this one character, his name's Little James, and he's a staff, he's lame, he's got a limp, basically.
Okay.
And there's this one scene where Jesus is talking to Little James. James comes up to him and he says, I've been given authority to heal, yes? And Jesus is like, yes, of course. He goes, why haven't I been healed? Why haven't I been healed? Well, Jesus goes, well, think of this. Somebody like yourself with a lame walk, able to heal people, wow, what an incredible miracle. But ultimately, you will be healed. When kingdom comes, we'll all be healed.
Right.
It will, whatever, physical, mental, emotional, any ailment will be healed in time. But just think of that. God gives very select few people the ability to transform lives while you're in the middle of a transformational season. So what he's telling James is like, somebody like you who has a lame walk, I can much rather deal with you than Peter's temper. I would much rather have you be able to give the power to heal people. And how much more so that somebody like yourself, who nobody would expect you to be able to heal people, can heal people. You can tell people in the midst of your struggle, no, God does heal, because I can. And so with the issue of my roommate's knee, he might not be healed immediately because, and this is what I'm getting to, you can be healed immediately, and that's great. But a lot of times God won't heal you to teach you a lesson. Like that's why Jesus let Lazarus die, is so that he could be glorified even more so. The transformational healing power. I mean, if Jesus healed Lazarus while he was sick, he might not have even been written into the Gospels.
Right.
Because he did that a bunch. But he brought him back from the dead. Holy cow. Can you imagine that? Bringing somebody back from the dead? So they definitely wrote about it. With somebody like my roommate who just broke his knee, or if you have an anger issue, whatever emotional issue, you can be healed of it like that. But where's the testimony in that? Where's the lesson? It won't sit and stay with you. You'll probably forget in a month's time, oh yeah, I had that knee issue. I had that emotional issue. But if you walk through that storm for months, that's going to stay with you. Yeah. And you will certainly be able to tell other people about that.
Well, to add to that, it's kind of like the story of Billy a couple weeks ago where, okay, why did that happen? Well, God's economical. Sometimes we go through a valley so that we look and say, oh, these are the things that you tend to evaluate yourself or and do this introspection when you're going through hard times.
Oh, yeah.
A crisis is a great place.
Believe it or not, yes.
That God uses. It's like, well, yeah, this is kind of like what happens, and you're going to have to deal with this, and you're going to have to make some changes. So some healthy practices are naming the emotion.
Yeah.
And you've been talking about that. Some guy was telling you to write down all the
good
things about.
It's literally right there. Look, I don't know if you see my cursor. 100 affirmations.
Okay.
Isn't that funny?
Okay.
Who needs me to write down 100 self-affirmations?
So this...
You do, actually.
Yeah, you needed 2 pages.
But, I did.
But anyway, the naming the emotion. So that's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm feeling angry because you let me down. Or is that what it means by the emotion?
Yeah, and if you point the light at the issue, that's like half the battle, right?
Yeah.
Now you just got to let the light burn the issue, but it's identifying it.
Sometimes by journaling, where you write it out, and you write something out, and you're like, well, that's pretty lame. I'm pretty mad. I'm pretty mad because my daughter that was 3 spilled the milk, and I'm, okay.
And then you go, oh. Okay, never mind.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot that she was 3.
Yeah, duh. She's supposed to spill the milk.
And
She's
then-
3.
Right. And accountability and counseling. So you have someone accountable for your behavior.
Yeah.
And then but you have to ask permission, and they speak freely. I have a friend that deals with a lot of anger, and we've been talking to him about it, but he won't let anybody he won't be accountable to anybody because he doesn't know how he'll control his life he's afraid of what's going to happen and people are going to hurt him again and blah blah blah, and going all the way back to that PTSD. It's like, I'm not doing that again. Okay, well, guess what, you are doing it again.
You're doing it right now.
Okay. So Jesus and the model of handling it. So Jesus flipped tables. So that's a therapy lesson 101.
Well, you ever heard of a smashing room before? People do that. If you're angry, you get it out at a smashing room. You go and you pay. It's like 15 minutes, which is unfortunate that it's not like 15 hours. But you pay money to go into a room with like a hammer or like a bat, and then you just destroy things. Some people do that. I don't do that. I just destroy my own drywall in the house,
But it's Jesus.
Jesus also had a very righteous reason for being angry.
Right.
People were ripping off worshipers in the temple of the living God. Like,
it's not right for me to flip tables because my kid spilled milk.
Right.
You spilled milk.
Yeah.
Okay. Forgive people. Jesus forgave people at the cross, right?
He
Forgiveness
forgave them
is
on
how
the
to
cross.
how to get out of anger, right?
Yeah.
How to not be angry. You forgive people?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh. God forbid, right?
That's horrible.
Well, Jesus was on the cross. He said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. I mean, they just beat him for hours and then nailed him on a cross. And he goes, God, forgive them. They know not what they do. He probably didn't say it like that. He was probably hardly able to say it.
But knowing the verse, Father,
God,
forgive them.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he invites us to learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart.
Yeah.
And I think that just because I'm angry about it, it's like, okay, I'm going to forgive you, the reason you don't do it is because you feel like you're giving up control. And I'm condoning their behavior.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're still, house just burned down. Okay, let's work about, how are we going to fix this?
Right. Yeah.
They turned down my insurance. Okay, what are we going to do about that?
Yeah.
Being angry doesn't help anything.
No.
It's like, okay, I'm going to figure this out.
Well, it's like we said, it's like in order for there to be justice served in the political sphere, you have to be angry about it.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
you
you got to do something about
You
it.
can say, okay, let's, Martin Luther King.
Great example.
He did a peaceful protest.
Yeah.
He just quit going to work, and they were like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah. And it led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Like,
Yeah. And he was always peaceful.
Oh yeah. What he did was a great example.
In your mind, you go, that can't happen anymore.
Well, it can. It happened. And it can continue to happen.
Yeah.
It's been happening. I mean, Jesus did it. Martin Luther King
And
did
it's
it.
happening in homes all across the world.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then, so final takeaways. Anger isn't the enemy, but unmanaged anger is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unmanaged anger leads to the pride, the unforgiveness. Big on the unforgiveness if it's not managed, because that takes time. It's resentful. It builds up, and then you put a hole in your drywall.
Yeah. And then 2, let God into places of pain, injustice, and pride that sparks our anger. So you're going, okay, God,
Surrender.
I'm going to lose my. So you go to God, and like, okay, before I start yelling at Will, I'm going to talk to God and say, okay, God, I can't deal with this right now.
Right.
And that's okay.
Great.
I need help.
Yeah.
Oh, go figure.
Yes.
You would pray about it and invite God into the moment.
Invite other people into the moment. Invite God into the moment.
Have you had to invite God into the moment? I mean, what does that look like? What would be a prayer that someone would say when they're in the middle of they're just furious that someone ran into their car?
Well, a lot of the times, I mean, there's scriptures early on in the Old Testament of strap Bible verses to your forehead and wrap them around your waist, and then people still do that literally. If you go, I went to Israel and I saw that. It was hilarious actually, but the idea of that is to be so deeply entrenched in Scripture and have reminders of your faith everywhere you go. I swear, I wear a cross. It's got Philippians 4:13. I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's a great example of that. If you're constantly reminded of your faith, it's unavoidable. All of the reminders you have of your faith, that's a great starting place of overcoming in the moment the anger spike. Identifying it, pointing the light at the issue is, again, half the battle. That's a big one for me, is identifying it, breaking it down. Why am I angry? Oh, my daughter's 3 and she spilled milk. She's supposed to spill milk. She's 3. Right.
And with me, it's this insurance rejection, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Me starting to scream at my wife because she's the only person in the room that loves me enough.
Yes.
And, oh, wait a minute, I'm here to help her.
Yeah.
And like, this is going to help, and like, it's her fault.
Right.
It's like, okay, God, I don't know really how. We've not ever done this before. Mm-hmm. I've never have to worry about someone else's health care and stuff like that. I mean your kids, but I mean, like my father-in-law. And it's like, well, you can help me.
Yeah. And I mean, a huge part of that is the whole, like, being slow to anger. It's like, well, what do you do when you can't just not be slow to anger? Like, a big thing, obviously, is you don't want to just solve the problem by your own strength. Yeah. We can tell you, like, well, think this or do this, and you'll overcome your problem. It's like, you're doing it in your own strength. You want to invite God into it, ultimately.
And when I look at my life, I mean, I've got a pretty good life. Yeah. And when I get angry, it's because it's disrupting my little Chris's amazing world.
Right.
And now I'm going to have to go to the nursing home and visit my mom-in-law, for an hour and a half, with my wife so that so she doesn't cry, and I'm going to have to. And it's like, oh, okay, Mr. Selfish.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And that's really the problem. It's like, well, wait a minute, this is infringing on me. Okay, you self-centered,
prick,
egomaniac.
Prick. Say prick.
Yeah, it is.
Good.
And so I'm like, okay, God, I'm sorry for that. Mm-hmm. Help me not to be a jerk, and help me to walk through this. And it's been great.
Good.
And so the challenge this week, notice when you're angry, instead of reacting, pause and pray.
Pause and pray. Invite God into it first, and He will walk with you through. Again, I've said it before, the end of Luke, Jesus tells Peter, Satan has asked to sift you like wheat, but I pray that your faith will not fail you. He doesn't say, but I pray that I'll make your pain go away. He says, you're going to go through the trial. Yeah. Jesus also said, be sure of this, in this world you will have trials of many kind, but take heart, for I've overcome the world.
And I can guarantee you, when you start working on this, everybody's going to make you angry.
You pray for patience.
It's like the devil goes, oh, watch this. You want to get better? Watch this.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter, he who overcomes the world, no.
He who is in the world is not. Wait a minute. What?
He who conquers his anger is stronger than he who takes a city.
Oh, there you go.
And so Proverbs 16:32. So it's like, okay, God, it's going to take work, but I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to look the fool anymore.
Right.
And I'm going to ask you to help me.
Give it up.
Wrap it up, buddy.
Don't be mad. It's going to be okay.
Don't do crack.
It gets better, I promise. Invite God into your mess, and He will walk with you through it. That is the best encouragement you will ever hear, whether you know it or not, because you'll come out the other side, and you'll be stronger because you'll know what to do in that situation again, and you'll have a stronger relationship with God.
For this we have Jesus.
For this we have Jesus.
For this we have Jesus, because He's the answer, and He will help you. And the other behavior that you hate and everybody else hates, He's there to help you get through that.
Amen. See you next week.